All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I want to break it down and I want to share something kind of vulnerable of what I've been going through lately in these past 6 weeks of therapy. And today was a reminder for me, but my hope is also a reminder for maybe somebody out there that's watching or listening that you can't be too hard on yourself. What do I mean by that? Let's go. What up, familia? This is Noan El Boricua, and I am excited to be a little vulnerable with you today. I want to share a little bit about my faith, and I want to give a shout out to my therapist, Dr. Renee, for really getting me to open up today and to understand that sometimes we cannot be our harshest critic, which has actually happened for me. Not just once, but a few times. I just kind of want to open with this, and I'm gonna read it. I wrote this down, and I don't have it by memory. I actually was gonna record a video, so I just feel that maybe sometimes you might be going through something, and I just kind of want to remind you that you're not alone and that we all have our journey in life in how we grieve, how we navigate it. So here's what I wrote. I wrote the following, for the long time, I thought that the believer life or the Christian life meant to try harder, meaning pray more, be stronger, stay disciplined, keep it pushing. But these last 6 weeks of grief have exposed something in me that I knew was there. I don't need performance, I need presence. Losing one of my closest friends, and one of my closest friends that has helped me with these students at the local church, forced me to slow down and ask, what does it actually mean to walk with God when your heart is tired? Not to preach about Him, not to post about Him, not to perform for Him, but what does it mean to walk with Him? And maybe that's where some of you are as well. I hope it's not just me. So before I give you like 3 quick points, as always, want to say thank you, all of you. Look, we just hit 14,000 views on our social media YouTube channel. But I would love for those that are listening or if you're watching this video, one, I hope you could subscribe. I would love if I could get 5% of the 14,000 that viewed this channel, that would mean that we would have 700 new subscribers, and that would be so ideal. So thank you so much. Hope you can forward it. But more importantly, I want to get into point number one. When I got out of my most recent session, one of the things that my therapist Renee said was I was being really hard on myself. And one of the things that she's also, she also believes in God. She brought up about, for those that don't know, right, when you think about the church and you think about God and Christianity, you have God the Father, Jesus is the Son, and then you have the Holy Spirit. So it's kind of this three in one. Just super quick breakdown. Hopefully you can follow where I'm tracking. One of the things that she said is that God has given us what's called grace. Outside of just His love, God gives us grace. And one of the things that came to my mind as I was driving over here was that the Spirit, that being the Holy Spirit, was never meant to be a backup, like in this journey that I am on with God and just this whole thing on grief and how do I move forward. And I think for me, it's understanding that, and I know this, but I just think I wanted to come on here, maybe affirmation for me to be able to hear this as I watch this back, and maybe for some of you guys to be able to relate. The Spirit, it's a guide for us. It walks with us. It sees where we go. And I think for me, one of the things that I wrote down here is that when I think about grief, it's revealed how easy it is to like go into survival mode. And so what do I mean by that? I mean survival mode is that I would keep volunteering, I would keep saying yes to every project at work, I would do whatever little chore there is in order to keep my mind busy. And even though I could be busy, internally I'm disconnected. What do I mean by that? I realized that I was asking God to help me carry the pressure instead of learning how to walk with him through it. Thank you, Renee. She gave me a couple verses to look at, and for the sake of just, it's a lot of verses, but I thought of like, I have it right here on my iPad. John 14:16 through 17, Romans 8:14 are all really good context of understanding this first point, that we shouldn't ignore the Spirit, that being the Holy Spirit, because we need to walk with the Spirit in all of this. The other thing that I've been learning in my therapy is that like grief has slowed me down enough to notice God in a total different way. Because I'm keeping it 100, man. And can you relate? Like, pain a lot of times exposes, how fast we're living. And when grief comes in, it's like all of a sudden you slow down, and then you see that God and the Spirit is now trying to get you at this pace that is like so much slower than our ambition of go, 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 because everyone's getting faster and stronger, metaphorically speaking, right? Like we're just trying to compete, and pain is telling us go fast until we realize that we need to slow down. So I want to be honest. It's hard slowing down. Past couple weeks, some people have asked me if I've been okay. Some people know that there's a lot going through this head right now. Um, you know, I've been waking up a lot of times a bit more heavier, just because I'm grieving, right? I've also, I've had these random moments. Like, look, let me tell you, when the Dodgers were losing 4 in a row, the only person I thought of was texting my friend Abner, and I couldn't text him. This past Mother's Day event that we helped out all the moms on a Saturday to serve them, hearing and seeing people walking in with their moms and seeing Abner's parents made me think of him still needing to lead at the workplace and here locally, in the community. It's been hard, and people are still calling me, and sometimes I have to answer certain texts or WhatsApp or whatever emails, even some emails that I get. But then I'm realizing that God was not rushing me to move on. And that's what I learned, that I can slow down. And that's something that I was sharing with my therapist today. So I want to say to you, I hope that you can find time to slow down. Look, this is not a typical video, but I just kind of want to share this because I think for me, it's this self-awareness of understanding that even as a professional, even as a father and a husband and a leader within the community, it's and a teammate at work, it's vital to understand the essence of like, and even my own leader shared this, like, like grieving is not linear. And I think for me, I've learned it, but I think one of the biggest things that I loved about God is understanding this super powerful moment that I keep thinking is that at the end of the day, the Holy Spirit doesn't shame me for slowing down. He actually met me there at the hardest point of my life in this season of my life. If you follow me on IG, I've been posting, some photos of me at the beach, and I'll post some photos here for you guys to see, like moments of just sitting down in silence, no AirPods, just sitting there. Opportunities of like being able to go for a walk at the local park by my job, being able to go to therapy. Shout out to my therapist, Renee, and learning that God's presence can feel gentle and not dramatic, because there's so much algorithms on just dramatic things. And I think that's what we seek out sometimes. But I'm finding out that this vulnerability will actually resonate deeply in my long-term health of where I am at in my walk in life. So I just want to like reassure some of you, like, yo, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to acknowledge what you're going through, and you're not alone. And I know you hear that, but I'm just telling you from my own journey as I've been learning this, because this really hit hard. So last point to close this out. Healing begins when you walk with God and not ahead of him. Let me unpack that. Trying harder cannot heal the soul. Only abiding can. Meaning resting, staying still. Like you totally surge ahead, trying to control those outcomes, you can resist and then fall behind, or you can just walk with him step by step. Now, I don't know why the song comes to my head. I'm trying to make this, I don't want to make it a summer video, but there's always healing in laughter. And I think, again, like when I was, when I got here and I was thinking about this, I thought of like Galatians 5:25. And I think for me, um, I just want to give you some simple rhythms of what that looks like to be able to walk with him. Before you get out there every morning, I want you to pause and reflect, pray, and meditate. I want you to ask God, like, yo, God, what are you forming today in my life? Like, what's going to stand out for me today? And then I think a bigger one is, and I think a lot of you do this, is let the community around you help carry that grief. Remember, my mentor, Dr. Larry Costa, says, we suffer in isolation, but we heal in community. So as I close this video out, I'm doing okay. And maybe you've been trying to survive spiritually by trying harder, being stronger, being more disciplined, more productive. I got it. More okay. But maybe Dios te está invitando, God is inviting you to something deeper, algo más profundo. And it's not performance, it's not presence, it's not like striving, walking, it's none of that. Allow God to like let you take your time to be able to heal. And maybe as you're listening or watching this video, maybe today, the most spiritual thing that you can do, like, yo, no, and I'm not spiritual. Look. Maybe the most spiritual thing that you can do today is to slow down enough to notice that God has already been walking beside you from the very beginning that you've been going through this grief. So think about that, pray about it, and thank you for checking this video out. As always, you can head on over to fuelpasionpodcast.com for all of our latest videos. Again, I just finished out this little mini series, 3 videos on my journey within the brand, 25 years. Muchas gracias for all the love. Also, if you watched the 3rd video, there's a link there where you could schedule a 1-to-1. I apologize, there was some double booking, so I missed a few of you, so I'm trying to reschedule that. But more than anything, slow down, look next to you, and you'd be surprised who has been walking alongside you every point of your life that you've been struggling or going through some hard times, and just know that he's asking to pause, abide, and that everything is going to be okay. It may not happen overnight, but just know it takes time. And I know that for me, that time has been great. And I'm grateful for my family being there every step of the way, as well as me being there for them and celebrating moments, and excited to see what's the summer to bring. So como siempre, I cannot do Spanglish. Como siempre, como dice mi abuelita, que Dios te bendiga.